Many blessings. I wanted to make this video today. I've been asked to make a video or do a teaching about taking payment for healing or for teaching. And I know I've covered this before in some regards, and it's generally a widely debated topic, but in my mind there's no debate about it at all. The whole foundation of offering salvation, of offering this course, these teachings, these learnings to our brothers, is that it's an extension of God's love, an extension of His will on earth as above, so below. And very simply in the psychotherapy booklet, it states very clearly that if you need anything such as money or whatever is required in your ministry, it will be provided. There is nowhere in the course, in the Urtext, in Helen's notes, in the psychotherapy practice and purpose, I think it's called, booklet, where it says that you can seek assurances for your ministry by charging upfront fees, often exorbitant fees, for workshops and gatherings and seminars and things like that. That's not there at all. There is nothing along those lines whatsoever. And you have to take into account that this is a journey of faith. In the West, there seems to be this delusional perspective. And I say delusional because it is. The delusional perspective that somehow a teacher of God is to be worshipped or praised or something, or revered, which as an elder brother, I know for my own self I command a certain amount of respect, and I know that I have to be quite choiceful in who I offer these teachings to or take on board as a student within my inner circle. And Jesus says that you must trust the student that you offer this to. You must have faith in them in that regard. And there are many that I turn away. But there is a integrity to faith that is required in the pursuit of salvation. The path of salvation through the course necessitates the idea of becoming a teacher of God, because as you teach, you learn. And having been teaching for 25 years, I guarantee that there is no one from whom I can't learn, and no time or place from where learning is absent. Everything is always an opportunity to bless and to forgive, either or. In fact, in the East, and I remember a beautiful example of this when Amachi, the mother, came from India to Australia on a tour many years ago, and thousands of people crammed into the sports auditorium to see her. She didn't ask anything in payment. It was completely free. And in fact, she paid. She gave a small chocolate to everyone that came up for a hug, because she was grateful for that opportunity of joining and the availability of, in that moment, the connection of where two minds become one. And I can tell you that I did witness that in that evening several times, even with these physical eyes. But in India, in the East, the sadhus, etc., they say that I'm lower than the shit that comes from the snake's ass. I'm a servant to all mankind. I'm responsible for all the pain and the suffering in the universe, and it is my responsibility to accept atonement for myself, to take the situation that seems to be dualistic and bring it into a singular perspective in my own mind, so that I can be freed of the nature of duality in that relationship, and also liberate whoever it is that seems to be playing the part of the student, which is always false, it's the teacher, from their indentured commitment to an idea that now no longer has any value, which of course is death. So the path of becoming one of God's ministers, a teacher of God, is a path of faith. If you want to hold a seminar or a conference or a workshop, put it on. Make the commitment first. Make the commitment first. Advertise it. Tell people about it. Put out that vibration of whatever it is that you want to do. And then take the first step out in faith. If it's meant to happen, it will. If it's not meant to happen, it won't. If your guidance from within is true, if it's heartfelt, it will happen. I guarantee you. There is no need to ask for money, because money is placing a secondary interest in between the free-flowing energetic of giving and receiving that the channel of the teacher can extend to the student. Don't muddy the waters. Keep everything clean and free and open as possible. Do you think you're going to starve if you don't have stacks of paper and piles of metal discs? Did Jesus have an auditorium? Did Jesus organize online conferences with top-line teachers or prominent teachers from around the world who have become so because of their own self-aggrandizing and their own publishing of what it is that they're about over and over and over? It's marketing. Jesus didn't have to market anything. He performed one miracle and everybody came to the party. Everyone's like, Jesus is turning water into wine. Quick. Let's get to that celebration. I often have people say to me, oh, well, I teach yoga, or I do this, or I do that, whatever that is to them, as an idea of something to do with healing. But let me tell you this, if it's not representing salvation, it's not healing. It's just a higher vibratory frequency associating with temporal order that actually does nothing but produce occasionally phenomena. And yes, you can have light experiences through some of these different things, but they have no integrative potential in you. And so they get lost to the past of an experience that you had years ago when you did this or that or Reiki or some other kind of a thing. And the ability to forge a lasting change is lost, whereas miracles are accumulative. The witnessing to the nature of the miraculous occurrence in the mind where two minds meet, where two minds communicate as that one mind. That's the point of the Course. That's true communication. The miracle reveals that minds are joined and are in fact one mind. So if you're teaching yoga and you're charging money for that, I don't care about that. That's the same as any other business. Bend yourself into a pretzel all you want. True yoga is of the mind. And if you're charging for that, you're placing a secondary interest in place of what the true expression or the true extension of the whole purpose of that yogic positioning in you is. What it is that you put out and demand of others is also demanded of you in sacrifice. And you don't realize that because you think that you're getting something in return for something, and so it makes it valuable to you. It doesn't actually make it valuable to you. It actually devalues it in your own mind. It devalues it in your own awareness. And you'll find yourself saying, well, I used to feel so great. I used to be incredibly bright and wonderful and happy and peaceful all the time. And now I just feel like run down and everything's like, and you start looking around for the next thing. There is no next thing. Let yourself be sustained by the love of God in all needs, in all wants, in all requirements. Seen rightly, there are no needs or wants. Everything is already accounted for. Nature abhors a vacuum, and there is no lack in God. don't imply a lack in God by seeking financial assurances for taking steps towards what you think is representing him as being a teacher on earth. That's nothing. You sacrifice your own salvation in doing so. Your job is to purify your mind. Learn to live completely by faith. By faith alone does a man enter the kingdom of heaven. Give unto Caesar what is Caesar's, and give unto God what is God's, and have no concern of what you will eat for this day or the next day, where you will sleep this day or the next day, how you will follow the inner guidance this day or the next day. You're free. Try to understand that. Try to understand what freedom means. God is your supply. The universal power that gave you the ability to even make manifest a dream of denial in the first place, or the belief in a dream of denial in the first place. The birds have their nests and the foxes have their holes. Are you not more important than these? Try to hear this. Try to let this in. This is what I live by every day. Every day is a leap of faith. I go to my store. I don't know if anyone's going to turn up. I don't know if I'm going to have clients from one day to the next. I don't charge for teaching or healing. I can't imagine anything more abhorrent than doing that, actually. And that may be a little matter for healing for me. But imagine your own children suffering, your own kids, your offspring, suffering with a mental illness or a physical illness. Would you charge them money? Would you recommend they come to your workshops, your seminars, and pay the thousands of pounds or dollars or whatever shekels entry? It doesn't matter that you don't turn anyone away if they can't afford it. Everything is energy. Everything is energy. Try to see it that way. Keep the channel completely open. The fact that there would be any concern for anything interposed between the extension of, or the receiving and the giving of God's love through this message, or through hands-on healing, or through any other facility or gift of the Spirit. It doesn't matter. Give. It is in giving that you receive. Give. Ask nothing. Ask nothing. Charge nothing. Simply give and you will receive. Have faith. I love you.